Football playoffs, we're deep into them now. Season coming to another close, so we thought we'd catch up with starting running back for the number one team in the state of New Mexico, the Cleveland Storm. Harris Mbueha is my guest. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, this is the time of the year, right? That's a big deal around campus, obviously, with all that tradition. So talk about that.
It's cool. You know, we're just happy to be here playing football and just doing what we do best.
You know, for those that aren't in it and those that don't know it, just how big is that tradition and that pressure and those expectations at that school versus, you know, a lot of others that just don't realize it?
It's very big. It's a whole lifestyle. You know, we wake up early, we do this, we do that. It's a lot. I probably see my teammates more than I do my parents. So it's just something we all just collectively as one just do, and we love it.
I mean, I don't have to tell you that obviously, you know, the tradition is so rich over there. I mean, it's funny, we always joke about it during the regular season. You know, when Cleveland does lose a game, it's always like, what's wrong with Cleveland? The sky's falling, right? It's like news shattering when you guys lose a game. That's the tradition you guys have built that high, where when you do lose a game, it's like everyone wants to ask what's wrong, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It happens, little mistakes, but we come back the next day.
But it's got to be pretty cool to have built something that special where
it is.
Like the community's in shock when you guys lose.
It is.
Right? Like, I mean, you think about it nationally, who could you possibly compare that to? I mean, I would say I would have a hard time finding a comparison, right? Like maybe the women's soccer team maybe back in the day, right, for the U.S.
Yeah.
Or I'm a UCLA fan, so the UCLA basketball program back in the day under Coach Wooden. You just don't have a lot of programs where the earth literally stops when they lose.
Right, that's true.
And so, obviously, you've been in the system for a while. You guys have your routines, but what's the preparation like when the playoffs come around?
Oh, we really don't think about other teams. It's just one step at a time. We focus on us. The little things, honestly, that's really what matters. That's where it really comes down to. What can I do to make myself better? Scouting report, film, all that. Just the little things, that's what we really focus on.
Now, can you remember kind of what your first time was in that experience? Because obviously now you're going into it knowing you're going to play a primary role, the featured back. But your very first time prepping for the playoffs, you're probably like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get in or not, right? Do you have any memories of that very first time?
I do. I wasn't really nervous because I knew I wasn't. There was a slim chance of me really going in, but I was prepared. You know, back then I was a scout team, so I was ready to give my best. Just make sure that the starters are ready for what's coming.
Well, but it's funny, though, you know, you say that because Cleveland has had this very uncanny history now of the playoffs roll around or an important game rolls around and someone that maybe we haven't heard of steps into the limelight. I can remember a couple of years ago, running back gets hurt, Chuka Tootman gets in there, the rest is history, right? So, like, guys always seem to step up in that program. Is that something Coach Garza and the staff kind of get through to you guys right away as soon as you start in the program as youngsters?
Yes, absolutely. They always tell us we're one play away. Everybody's one play away from getting in. You're one play away from doing this. You're one play away from doing that. So we're just always ready, when that opportunity comes.
So what was your one play? What was the play where the very next one you were the man? Do you remember it?
Probably that state game. You know, Josh got hurt and I ended up being the back for the rest of the game. I say that was probably the game where, okay.
And you don't ever expect it to be on that scale, right?
Absolutely
but
not.
It goes back to what Coach said, right? One play away.
One play away.
And how special of an environment was that? Obviously, you get in there, and the rest is history. You had a great day.
Well, first, you're not really sure because you're nervous. You know, you're not this is not something you expect. But once you get in that zone, you're locked in. Nothing really matters except the next play.
Right. I want to talk more about culture. I'm real big on the Cleveland culture. I think culture wins. So I want to talk more about culture and then get into some of the season when we get back with Harris right after this.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm back with the Cleveland running back, Harris Mbueha. Harris, we were talking about culture, and I could talk to Cleveland guys about culture for hours because I think it's important. I think it's the fabric of winning programs.
Absolutely.
So just take me through it from the beginning. Where does this culture start? Who imposes it? Who helps? Tell me about all that and how they download that to you guys at a young age.
We're a player-led team. Most of our players, they're the ones standing up. Okay, we do this, we do that. But mostly it starts off season. That's where we get in the weight room. We go out in the field. We do this, we do that. It starts out in the off season. That's where we really, okay, this is what we got to do. This is our goal for the coming season. This is where we need to be before we can do this. So slowly build up to that. And
how intense and how different is the weight room aspect of it? Because I've talked to some former Cleveland players that went on to other places, and that's always what they mentioned first. They said that's the difference. The weight room is the difference at Cleveland. We just take it so much more serious. It's like a religion over there. Talk about that aspect.
The weight room is a big part of our program. Every morning during the off season, we come in, we lift. Doesn't matter. We come in, we lift every morning. So for us, you just gotta love it. The environment. Even if you don't like it, you're eventually gonna end up loving it because it's just the environment, the people you're around. It's uplifting.
And then let's talk about the staff. Obviously, yeah, it's a player-led team, but the staff does a huge job in kind of downloading that culture. So take me through that. What's the relationship like with star running back to head coach, but even all the assistants? How do they kind of feed into that tradition?
I have a great relationship with all the coaches, especially our head coach. He used to be a fullback, so he, as a running back, he can relate with some of the things I do. So like my certain plays, he knows what to do. He coaches me here and there, and I'm just very grateful to have him by my side.
And then obviously the facilities. That's a big thing, right? When you talk about tradition and culture, when you have a weight room like that, when you have a film room like that, when you have a home stadium like that, and obviously you guys put in the blood, sweat, and tears to put up the state titles, to decorate those areas, right? But I mean, how you've seen it, you travel around the state.
Right.
I mean, it's as good as it gets, right? So how big is that part of it? How prideful are you in that part of it?
We're very prideful, but we don't take anything for granted. We know it doesn't really matter where we are. We're still going to put the work in. Doesn't matter what kind of film room we have. We're still going to go down there and watch film. Doesn't really matter what weight room we have. We're going to go up there,
right,
lift some weights.
So when you kind of have that motto of protect the tradition at Cleveland, that's not just something they slap on a T-shirt. It's not just some bullshit. You guys feel it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's a big part of our lives.
has the program reached a place where like you don't want to be part of that class? Oh, I was there the year we didn't win, right? I remember talking to some kids that played at Hope Christian for basketball, and they're like, yeah, when the kids come back from the 2 years that didn't win, we all look at them like, oh, those are the guys that didn't win.
Right.
Is it reached that point at Cleveland where like you don't want to be part of that class that doesn't win, right?
No. That was then. This is now.
Right.
We're more focused on what's coming, and we're just trying to get ready for that. Yeah.
All right. Well, you talk about what's coming. I have to tell you, as an outsider, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but we expected Cleveland and La Cueva last year, and most of us expect that again this year, right? But how do you tune out all that noise and nonsense? Because I know obviously you guys don't think like that. That's just a media thing.
As the tune-out part, we're not really on social media that much.
We'll get to that, my friend. We'll get to that.
I'm not very big on social media,
Right.
so I try to stay out the mix and just one step at a time.
Right.
That's how it is.
I will not be picking a winner this year, by the way. So that took a turn on social media
Really?
last year after the game, if you remember, right? Oh yeah, ask some of your teammates about that. They gave me the business on
Really?
As soon as the game ended, I get in my car and my phone just starts lighting up, and you must not have been one of the guys, but definitely a lot of your teammates replaying a video clip of our show where I picked the winner. A lot of that. It was fun. I really like to engage with you guys. So this year I probably won't be picking a winner. So just to be safe. Right? I think I learned my lesson.
Okay.
Let's talk about earlier in the season, right? Now you talk about we did have a couple losses on the season this year, but against some amazing opponents, right? So I think how cool is it that you guys get to travel out of state to play?
Very dope. Very cool. It's something other teams don't have the opportunity to experience. So we really taking that opportunity and learn from it.
And then for those that don't know, like how good are some of these teams you're playing? Like especially that friendship team.
Very good.
I mean, talk about some of those guys on that team.
Some of the guys are top teams in Texas. Some of them have offers to big schools and all that. So for us to just go out there and compete with them, it's honestly a blessing and a very big opportunity for us.
What do you feel? I mean, do you feel like you guys are as sharp as you could be, having played those kind of opponents plus the Artesias, right? And then obviously you head into your district. It's always a tough district. Do you feel like it gets you guys ready for the championship every year?
We have our district is probably the hardest district, I'd say. But as far as those teams, yes, absolutely. Those are the teams that really get us ready for our up later on in the season. Ones were our earlier games. Those are always our toughest games, always. And I think that really builds character in our team, just gets us ready for the playoffs and all those.
And like when you guys travel out of state to Texas, you kind of like, there's got to be a little bit of added pressure. Like, okay, this is the team from New Mexico,
Exactly.
right? Like you kind of represent the state at that point, right? Because it's like, okay, this is New Mexico's best. You kind of feel that burden when you go on the road. Maybe burden's not a great word choice, right? But you feel that. You feel that a little bit?
We do get nerves. We're nervous, but since I were excited, not every team gets to do something like this and just go out there and perform the best we can.
Right. All right, we want to get to know you a little more.
Okay.
So we want to do top 5 lists now. Top 5 list time. Top 5 things we don't know about Harris Mbueha. Number 5.
I used to play soccer when I was younger.
Okay, so you played soccer when you were younger. Now you're talking about growing up. When did you start that?
It wasn't like a team thing. It was more of like me and kids gather up and just play soccer. So kind of like a street ball almost.
Right.
They used to play that.
And kind of everyone has a ball at their feet, right? Where you grew up, right? I mean, you see that during the World Cup, the documentaries around, right? That is the world's game, right? So did you think that was probably going to be the sport you ended up playing?
No, it was more of like a pastime.
Okay. All right, so you never were like, this isn't going to be my thing? Okay, cool. Number 4 that we don't know about you.
I don't like a lot of popular food. I don't like gravy.
Okay, you don't like a lot of popular foods.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just run some popular foods down. You said you don't like gravy. You told me you don't like mac and cheese, which is super weird.
Yeah.
Like any kind of mac and cheese, or like just like the crappy kind?
Any kind.
Like you go to a nice restaurant and order it ever?
It doesn't matter.
Any kind, it doesn't matter. All right, let's see. Popular food. Pizza?
I'll eat pizza.
Okay,
But that's
so-
different, though.
All right.
That's very different.
Okay. What about spaghetti?
Spaghetti? I eat spaghetti.
All right. What about like Chick-fil-A?
Depend. Like the mac and cheese?
No, Chick-fil-A, like regular
it's-
chicken
it's-
sandwiches at Chick-fil-A.
I
Okay.
eat the
All right.
chicken
Okay. All right.
sandwich,
So, what other popular foods do you not like?
yeah. What's another one? I don't like peanut butter.
Yeah, that's a little weird,
Yeah.
especially for an athlete, right? Peanut butter, like that's like a
They tell
staple
me
when
peanut
you're
butter
young.
sandwich,
Yeah.
gets you bit. Nah,
Right? No,
I
none of
don't-
that.
I don't like that.
All right. So, what's your fuel then? Instead, so if you don't like peanut butter sandwiches, what was the fuel that you ate when you were a kid to get you big?
It's not burgers, maybe.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all
just a
right.
little thing like
All right.
I'm a little
Number 3 that we don't. No, what's the number 3 thing we don't know about you?
big Ariana Grande fan.
Big Ariana Grande fan. Okay, what's your go-to? Like, we're talking like just at home or like on the playlist on the field as
No,
well?
just at home. Nobody
Just at
really
home?
knows.
Okay.
No
all
one
right.
really knows.
What's on the playlist at home and what's on the playlist on the field pregame?
At home, just a little mix.
Okay.
Rap, pop, whatever's on. In the, during games, I'd say mostly rap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who has control of? Is there still an aux cord? Does that still exist? But who has control of the aux cord, like in the weight room or in the locker room? Who would dominate the music there on your team?
I don't really keep count, but
Or you guys all
it's
do your own thing?
yeah, everybody kind of does their own thing.
own
But
thing.
usually, it's either Strat, I think Louis, or Ben.
Okay.
Those are the guys I've really seen with
Okay.
aux.
What about like those road trips? Is that everyone on their own too, or the music?
Everybody's just zoned down on
Everyone's
their own
zoned out.
things.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Number 2, things we don't know about you. Can't have silence here. You said you'd have 5 for me.
Number 2 thing, I used to play basketball,
Okay, so you played basketball.
Fourth
When
grade.
when did you start that?
4th grade,
And when did you stop that?
and 4th grade.
Oh, so that's just a real small cup of coffee playing
sir.
basketball. Well, just wasn't your thing, or
I don't know. I just stopped playing it.
okay, all right, okay. Number 1 thing we don't know about you:
I'm a wrestler.
you're a wrestler.
I'm a wrestler.
So you're still wrestling now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Like 6 years.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's the relationship there with wrestling and football? How do they complement each other?
Compliments very, very good. Wrestling kind of like tones your body. Football kind of gets you that build you need for it. So, best of both worlds, pretty much.
What's tougher? What's tougher on the body, the wrestling schedule or the football schedule?
What's tougher?
Yeah.
I'd say football.
Okay.
Yeah, football.
All right.
At least for my position.
Okay, and then there's a few guys in the city, right, that do both football and wrestling.
Yes,
so kind of is that a little fraternity? You guys kind of all have that in common. Talk to each other about that.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, those are 5 things that we did not know about you before. We're going to take a break. We'll dive into a couple of those things, including where you grew up and the soccer and the rest of all that athleticism, where it all came from when we get back.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety.
Back with Cleveland Storm running back Harris Mbueha. We were talking, we did top 5 lists right before the break, so we got that out there. Got to know some unique things about you. The food thing is just weird to me. So what is your go-to then? Like, what's your, we talked about what you don't like. What's your favorite?
I like Nutella, bread and chocolate. Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's not peanut butter, it's bread and chocolate.
All right, Nutella, that's, hey, I can
great-
dig that. I'm German, and that's a very European thing.
Exactly.
So, right, I can dig the Nutella for sure. So, all right, let's talk about your background a little bit. Obviously, grew up in another country, so talk about that.
Kind of young. I don't really remember much, but it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
And it's interesting, we talked about the soccer thing, right?
Yes, sir.
And so I want to get back to that. So you really never felt like a pressure that was the sport, or you never really felt the calling that was the sport. But obviously American football is not big in Africa either, right? So what was early life, what was your early athletic life there?
I didn't really play sports.
Okay.
When I was back home, I came here like around 6.
All right.
I was pretty young. I didn't really play sports, so it was mostly school. My parents parents wanted me to focus on school.
Okay. And then we talked about basketball, wrestling, soccer, football. Those were the things you all played as a child, right?
Right.
And what drew you to each? Was it just like, hey, I want to be out of the house and let me do as much as I can?
I'm not gonna lie, you hit the nail on that one. The basketball, I don't know, I just saw a lot of kids
Okay.
outside playing basketball. Like, I want to try that.
All right.
So I did that. Wrestling, I never really thought I was a wrestler, but my friends got me in that.
Okay.
Football, also friends kind of got me in that. I didn't really care for any of those sports. So.
Scary to think that football's just a hobby.
Yeah, so it was just like people just got me in most of the sports.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did the light bulb go off though in football, and when did you realize like, okay, I'm dominating out here?
I want to say 8th grade, but I don't really. I say 8th grade maybe. Yeah, my coaches were pretty big on me trying to play in the next level, high school. So they kind of pushed me to that side.
Yeah.
I was not going to play.
You know, Coach Garza warned me about this. He's like, yeah, Harris is not going to want to talk about himself a lot. He's not, but it's fascinating to me to think about like that. Oh yeah, football is just this thing, right? But like you're dominating out there this season, so. And coming again, we go back to the tradition, right? The tradition of running backs at that school. Obviously, I don't have to name the names, right? But it goes all the way, it goes back past Dorian Lewis, right? So, I mean, that's pretty special. It's not just like, oh, here I am carrying the ball, right?
Yes,
like it's kind of a big deal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody in the state knows we're gonna run the ball, But I think the biggest part from that is just having great coaching staffs. People are really can relate, Like I said, Coach Garza he's played my position back in his day. So just him being able to give me those small details and just being able to help me, I'm able to be the best I can on the field.
One thing you did mention that's different than in years past is, yeah, you're right. Everybody does know you're going to run the ball this year. Like it's not a secret, right? So how does that change your preparation for the game and your body and everything, knowing that every night could be one of those 30 carries, heavy workload night, right?
It doesn't really, but I come game day, I'm always nervous.
Right.
Always nervous. Even before games, I'm like, okay. And I kind of have to be myself sometimes just to.
So what gets you in the zone on game day? Take me through game day, right? Like we're doing the game. Statewide TV this coming up Friday at 6 o'clock on My 50 TV. So what gets you into game mode? What time does that start? After school, during school, whatever. How does it start? What do you do?
I say after I get treatment, I come down to the locker room, get some gear on. I just sit by myself, lock in, headphones on, just silence. I won't even play music.
Just you want
just
noise
silence.
drowned out.
Yeah, just silence, just so I can be able to collect my thoughts.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are you thinking about?
Would you believe me if I said nothing? Or
No, I believe whatever you tell me.
Sometimes
it's obviously working, so whatever you tell me, it's true.
So I probably think about nothing, or I probably sometimes end up sleeping.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
you've caught a pregame nap.
Yeah, yes, and just thinking about some of the plays. Okay, this is what I need to do. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna look. Some of the formations. Okay, this is what the defense is gonna look like. This is what it's gonna be. This backer likes to do this. The edge likes to do this. The line's gonna move like this. The line's gonna move. Just little things like that to get me.
All right. What? And then we had Charles Lopez Burton on last week, the running back at Valley, and I asked him the question: What does the recovery look like after a 30-carry night? After a night where you know they're going to give you the ball over and over and over again. What does that recovery look like that night? What does it look like the next day? Is it the ice tub right away? Do you just want to go home and get to bed? Like, what's your recovery process after a heavy workload game?
I said a nice hot shower.
Okay.
And bed, straight to bed.
That's it?
That's it.
And then the next day, are you an ice bath guy, or what do you do the next day?
Next day I'm sleeping. Whole
Okay.
day, yeah.
Sleep?
Well, you know, I get in trouble for that because
You may or may not have slept your way through a class or two, is what you're saying?
Exactly, but just sleep, you know, it's hard on the body. So for me, it would just sit down,
Right.
relax, and just let my body do its thing. That's what I'm really big on, sleep.
Right. All right, so you turn on the TV on Saturday, you watch football, and you see your high school is obviously well represented at the next level, right? Especially locally here at UNM.
Mm-hmm.
So where's your football journey going to take you?
I really don't want to play.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it's not I don't want to play. It's just I'm kind of going with the flow right now.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens.
So a better interview question would have been, and shame on me for asking it that way I did, where does your life journey take you next?
Like school-wise?
Whatever.
I plan on going to Mexico State.
Okay.
Study engineering, civil, to be exact. Probably travel around the world, see places.
Right. Would it be fair to say that academics has always been important in your life?
Absolutely.
That your parents have had you pretty well balanced, that your life does not revolve around athletics?
Absolutely. My parents kind of humbled me on that. You know, if they're not scared to pull me out of sports or any kind of activity I'm in. If my grades aren't right, they drill in my head, make sure
Right.
I'm a student before I'm an athlete. Before even my coaches even did that. So I'm very grateful for my parents. They're kind of my backbone in
Right.
everything I do.
So they wouldn't at all be shocked if this is the end of the athletic journey
Yeah.
and your life broadens after high school.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, it has been fascinating to get to know you a little bit. Good luck the rest of the season. I know
Thank you.
playoffs are right around the corner, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And
for
thank
having
you,
me.
everybody, for watching. Good night.